welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a while, but I have been super busy with my full-time job. I am of course an ultrasound technologist, as you all know, and I recently transitioned out of school into working full-time. So I am super excited to be back here today to share with you another amazing portable ultrasound device. This product is by the company called BladGo, and it is a portable bladder scanner. I want to show you how everything comes packaged in the case and do a little bit of an unboxing with you, and then most importantly I'm going to show you how to set up this device so that you can be using it properly and know exactly what to expect. And then of course it wouldn't be a video of mine without a live demo, so you can stay to the end to see how the product works in real time. So the first thing that you see is this amazing case. It is so sturdy and well made, and it houses everything perfectly, but it's also completely portable, really easy to travel with and to move with on the go. Once you unlock the case, the first thing that you're going to see is the manual, which I think is written so well. I already read through everything, and it's written in very easy terms to understand. So of course it will tell you how to set up the device, how to use the device, care for the device, how to store the device, and then of course how to troubleshoot if you run into any issues or you're confused on anything. It's written super clearly, and even if you don't fully understand ultrasound physics or how this technology works, I find that this manual is set up in a way where it walks you through step by step anything that you'll need to know, anything you have questions on. So be sure to read your manual before starting using the device. Next, once we remove the manual, you're going to see the device is cased and housed in there with a lot of buffer and cushion, so that of course it's not getting damaged as you're moving portably with it. What's really cool about this device, I think, is the fact that it comes with its own monitor. So you basically have a little, computer screen there to see everything that you're doing. You don't need to rely on another device at all. Everything comes in this one case. With the monitor, you're going to see the probe, which is amazing. This kind of probe is not actually something that I've used before, but it's very user-friendly. This probe has capabilities of using 2D scanning as well as 3D scanning, so we'll get into that a little bit later. I love how the probe comes packaged. It has a really nice leather casing to it to keep it protected. And then underneath that section, you're going to see all of the cables that you need. Pretty much everything in this section is just your power cable, and I'll show you how to connect all of that to your device. It's very straightforward, nothing complicated. So now that we've seen everything that comes in this case, let's get into a little bit of setting up the device. Here we have the monitor for our device, and so the first thing that we're going to do is turn it on using the power button. This you just hold down. And now our device is on. The next thing we're going to do is click our menu button on this side right here. And this is where we can go into all of our settings and put in all the information. Here I'm going to use the up and down buttons to select the right value. So it's 2024, November. Here I have the date set already. Now we're going to click the right arrow to move on to time. So for me, that's my date and time set. The next setting says probe protective, and this is where you're gonna set how many seconds countdown you have before your auto measure starts measuring. So I'm gonna select 3 seconds. The next setting I think is super cool, and it's actually a screensaver setting, meaning after this amount of minutes, the screen is going to go into a screensaver mode and will turn black, which you can release by clicking any button. So let's set for 2 minutes. The next setting is our language settings. Obviously, I'm going to stick with English. The next setting is called volume tip. So what this is going to do is once it takes the volume of the bladder, if it reaches this number or more, it's going to alert you by ringing an alarm so that you're aware it is over the volume that you have set. So next we have the display mode setting, which gives you the option of either expert, or if you click the down or up arrows, light. So if you decide to choose the expert display mode, then the image display area is going to generate 12 frames of cross-sectional images of the bladder. and it will automatically draw the border of the bladder, and the measured results that it displays will show the bladder projection as well as bladder volume. If you set it to the light display mode, then the system is going to generate a projection of the top view of the bladder, and the measured results are going to display bladder volume and the volume tip. For now, let's just set it to expert. Here is where we can pick our contrast, but we also can do that when we are on our 2D display mode, so I'll show you that there. For storage, you can also use a U drive, which you can put right in here. You can also choose to encrypt that for patient privacy as well. Then lastly, I'm gonna have our patient ID on so that you can see what that looks like. I'm gonna get out of that mode, and this is where it's gonna ask me for the patient ID. Let's just say I choose to put the number 900. And when I get out of that, we can see at the top of our screen here, that's how we can identify which patient scan we're looking at. Another really cool feature I wanted to share is when you go to your 2D mode, that's where you can choose the kind of patient that you're scanning, and as well as edit the contrast setting that you have, which goes between low, medium, and high. So I'm gonna enter the 2D setting now by clicking our freeze button here. And here, when I click the up and down buttons, do you see in the left top hand corner, all of my options for kind of patient that I'm scanning change. So we have female, a female with a hysterectomy, obesity, and a child, which is typically good for ages 6 to 12, and then a male. Here, by clicking the down button, we can also change our contrast settings, so high contrast, low contrast, and medium. Once your settings are chosen, it will automatically start scanning for you, and then it will give you the results. Of course, I'm not scanning anyone right now, so there's nothing to show me. I'm on expert mode, and so I wanted to also show you, this is where you can choose to scroll through all of the 12 cross sections that it took. So this would be 2 of those cross sections here. If I click next, you see at the top, it's saying I'm on 2 of 12. Here, 3, 4, 5, 6. So these 2 images displayed here are going to give you all 12 of those cross sections of the bladder that it just took in expert mode. Now I'm just going to test out our screensaver mode. So I have it set to a minute now, and I'm just going to let you see what that looks like and how to release our screensaver. There you go. It's been a minute, so our screensaver kicked on. And this doesn't mean that the device is off, it's just resting. And now we can choose to turn it back on. Okay, so welcome to the live scanning portion of this. Obviously, because I'm going to be scanning the bladder, I'm not going to show as I'm scanning my husband, but just know he is going to be our model for today, and I have him laying down. The first thing I want to talk about is this probe. So this is a 2.5 megahertz probe, and if you know anything about ultrasound physics, that's really low frequency, which is perfect for looking at deeper structures and perfect for all different kind of body habitus. The purpose of this device is to assess for urinary retention and urinary incontinence, but also to look at the assessment of different treatments to see how the drugs are affecting bladder diseases. The thing that's cool about this is their goal is also to help with minimizing the frequency of catheterization, so that that's less and less necessary to be invasive. That also helps to lower the likelihood of UTIs. So that is in this manual, and it's a really cool fact about the purpose behind this device, which would be perfect for urology offices. So I'm gonna put on the screen what the scan looks like in the expert setting for my husband's bladder. You can see the results of his scan. You can see the volume of his bladder when it's full, and it also gives you 4 different numbers of all of the cross sections of the bladder. So as I mentioned, the expert mode shows you 6 different pictures, 2 side by side, because there are a total of 12 cross-sectional cuts of the bladder made in the expert mode. You can scroll through each individual cross-section and also save each one by clicking the down button and saving it to your U drive. The speed of this is really amazing to me, especially because it's obviously starting off in 2D mode, but then it takes a 3D image of all of the cross-sections of the bladder in a matter of seconds. I mean, literally each scan is probably 5 seconds. And once you have your probe placed correctly on the body, which the manual actually goes really in depth in telling you where you want the pubis symphysis to be, what the angle of this should be at, what's correct, what's incorrect to get that proper slice. then it gives you all of your very accurate measurements and numbers, and it's kind of just like in the blink of an eye, you have all of this information.
Here is an example of what an inaccurate scan would look like. So you can see on the screen here, we have this orange arrow, and I'm going to read from the manual what that means. It says if the measured result shows these dashes, then there's no detectable result at all and you need to remeasure. If an orange arrow appears next to the projection, it indicates that the measurement result is unacceptable. The probe must be moved according to the arrow direction and rescanned to measure it again. If a green arrow appears, then it is an acceptable measurement, and if there's no arrow, then that means you have an accurate measurement. So ideally, all of your measurements would have no arrow like the ones I previously showed.
So would I recommend this? Absolutely. It's the fastest bladder scan I've ever done. I remember in clinicals when I was going to general rotations, I had to do a lot of renals, and that obviously involves the bladder and pre and post void, and it can be a pretty long process to measure all of that A and P and the cross section by yourself. So to have this handy dandy device to do it that quickly is incredible. The next thing I'm going to show you is the light mode. This gives you information on the schematic of the bladder as well as the volume measurement and the volume tip. That's where you get to choose what volume you want the device to alert you for. You can pick whatever volume you want, but once it reaches or past that volume in the results that you get, the device will go off and alert you that that number or volume has been reached. And I think that's a really cool function. Some other little tips that I noticed about this device that I think make it really user-friendly is obviously it's all portable, it's all in one station for you to use, but obviously you have a lot of charging cables. You can either use them with the cables plugged in, or you can charge your device before you use it, and you don't have to have it plugged in if you're more portable while you're scanning. So you can charge it up before you use it, and then once you're ready, take it off, it'll be fully charged and you're good to go. Another thing that's really cool with this device is it actually has a button on the probe for you to start scanning and to take that automated measurement. So you can either click this button while you're scanning, or you can click your freeze button here to begin your automated scan. So I'll show you what that looks like. Here I'm going to use it on the actual probe itself. So say I'm scanning and I find my perfect placement, I just click, and you can see on the monitor it begins scanning. And it gives you your results. Or let's say that you're away from the monitor and you have somebody assisting you. You can be scanning, looking at the monitor, and then when you find the perfect placement, someone can click this button right here and it does the same thing. Immediately you have all the information that you need. So I think this device is incredible. It's very succinct, it's very efficient, it's very lightweight, and it comes with that incredible case that you get to carry around with you. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Okay, you guys, so that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much to BladGo for allowing me to try out and demonstrate your incredible product. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this device. Let me know what your role is in the ultrasound world. Are you a student? Are you hoping to get into a program? Are you already working? Let me know what you think below and what you'd like to see from me next. And I will see you guys in the next video.